All right, Stephen. What exactly made you decide to go vegan?
Oh gosh, the Bible. That's what got me into this, man. It was like I was having this argument with a hunter. Okay, he was a trophy hunter. Now this was back when I was eating meat. So, and he's a religious guy, so he was pulling out all these scriptures about hunting and all that. And so I won the argument not because I was really right or anything. I just knew more scripture than he does, and I was better arguing. I was just better at arguing. So, but the thing that I was doing was, as I was countering everything he had to say he could hunt, I was hitting him with something about animal abuse and how cruel it is, and it's unnecessary, and you shouldn't kill because you don't have to kill. You're killing because it's fun. You're killing. I was winning all these arguments, but what I was really doing is I was just arguing with myself. In the long run, when I left that night, I was just like, I could apply all those to my meat eating. All the arguments I gave him to not hunt was equally valid in saying I shouldn't eat meat. So, it just bugged me. And then the next couple of days, it's like all those scriptures were just going through my head. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then I'm out one night with my friends, and we're having dinner, and I got the menu in my hand, and I put it down, and I just go, I don't think I can eat meat anymore. So, it's like me arguing from the Bible with a hunter just pushed me over the edge. I obviously had this stuff kicking around my head prior, but that's what pushed me over the edge was the Bible. So
that's pretty crazy, because I've heard people use the Bible to defend their meat eating. Because I go out and I talk to people about veganism and outreach, and they say, oh well, God said we need to be eating meat, and that kind of argument. Which is kind of crazy, because I don't remember anywhere in the Bible where it says that you have to eat meat.
There is a couple questionable verses where a priest was told to eat the meat that was offered in a sacrifice. It wasn't a requirement, it was just his form of payment. In other words, the meat that came from the sacrifice, the priest didn't get paid. That's how they survived. So that was there for Aaron at one point, but really there's no law that God gave that said you have to eat meat. And that's the thing is, every time I get a Christian who says, well, God said we can eat meat, I'm like, where does it say that? Because if I want to be snarky about it, I go, oh, well, where does it say that? Because I know it doesn't. And they can't pull it out of their butts if they tried. It's just not there. So you can get them like that, but then you end up having to know the Bible to argue the Bible. And unfortunately, that doesn't work with a lot of people. Like you're Buddhist, so you're probably not going to be that familiar with the scriptures. Like me, I'll dance around people. I don't care. It's fun, but it would be unknown to you. So I don't often recommend using that approach, because if you get snarky, you better be able to back it up. So you can just say, I would suggest saying it like this: I'm not aware of any scripture like that. Can you tell me where it says that? You see, that's a whole nicer approach to do the same thing. And then they're like, well, here, we can, Google search it. And they're not going to be able to get that, because no, God doesn't say you can eat animals. He allows it. And then, in the beginning of the Bible and Torah, in the first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, we see where the allowances for eating meat came in. But by the time we get to the latter prophets with Isaiah and Amos and Jeremiah, we have God saying, God never wanted sacrifices in the first place, and the only time you could eat meat was when it was sacrificed meat. So God's saying that, He never wanted that in the first place. God's original plan in Genesis was to eat plants. Genesis 1:29 and 30. It's like God's plan was to eat plants, even after sin entered the world. Okay, everybody says, oh, well, God said we could eat animals after sin happened. Well, that was with Adam in Genesis chapter 3, and Adam was kicked out of the garden after the sin, and he was given instructions to eat plants even after sin.
Interesting.
So we got Genesis 1 and 2 are so important to knowing that, because that's the only place we have the perfect world. That's where we have the world the way God made it and wanted it to be. It's like a blueprint for everything. All right. So if it isn't there, it's then a result of sin entering the world. All right, and we should be trying to get back to that as close as we can. We'll never get to sinless perfection, but we should be trying to get to that point. That's at least our goal.